Hello, I am Pinky Veloso Ananda, a U.S. immigration lawyer. Today, I am going to talk about fiancé visas, how to bring a foreign national fiancé to the United States. In this video, I will discuss first the eligibility requirements for the K-1 visa process, and then the stages of getting the K-1 fiancé visa. Eligibility requirements for the K-1 visa process. To begin with, it is essential to understand that only a U.S. citizen has the eligibility to become a petitioner for a K-1 visa. This means they can petition for their foreign national fiancé to come to the U.S. with the specific intent of getting married. In contrast, lawful permanent residents or green card holders in the U.S. are not permitted to bring their fiancé to the U.S. under this visa category. Similarly, non-immigrants currently in the U.S., such as those holding a tourist visitor visa, a student visa, or any other non-immigrant visa, do not have the right to petition for their fiancé under this visa category. To reiterate, this opportunity is exclusively available to U.S. citizens who wish to bring their foreign national fiancé to the United States. Next, the in-person meeting requirement. The U.S. citizen petitioner is required to have met the foreign national fiancé in person within the last 2 years prior to filing the petition. However, there are two notable exceptions to this rule: extreme hardship and violations of cultural or social practices. These exceptions necessitate substantial documentation for consideration, and it's important to note that USCIS is stringent in granting exceptions to the in-person meeting requirement. Legal capacity to marry. It is imperative that both the U.S. citizen petitioner and the foreign national fiancé are legally free to marry one another. This requirement stipulates that they must be of legal age, and if previously married, their former marriage must have been legally terminated. Therefore, a valid annulment, divorce, or any other official form of marital dissolution is necessary to ensure that both parties are eligible to enter into a new marriage. Next, intent to marry. This requirement is a cornerstone of the K-1 visa process. Both the U.S. citizen petitioner and the foreign national fiancé beneficiary must demonstrate a clear intent to marry each other within 90 days following the foreign national's arrival in the U.S. on a K-1 visa. This intention is pivotal and must be convincingly established as part of the visa application process. Now that we have understood the foundational requirements, let's move on to explore the various stages of the K-1 visa process, which outline the procedural steps from petition filing to the final issuance of the visa. Stages of the K-1 fiancé visa process. First is the filing of the Form I-129F petition with the United States Citizenship and Immigration Services, or the USCIS. The primary goal of the petition is to demonstrate to USCIS the genuine nature of the relationship between the petitioner and the beneficiary. This includes showing the intent to marry within 90 days of the foreign national's arrival in America and providing documentation proving the petitioner's U.S. citizenship. As previously discussed, only U.S. citizens are eligible to be petitioners for a K-1 fiancé petition. The petitioner also requires documentation of the in-person meeting. This could include evidence of trips taken together, visits to each other, or typically a visit by the U.S. citizen to the foreign national in the latter's home country or in a third country where they met. A filing fee is required upon submission of Form I-129F petition. Next, the USCIS may request additional evidence, often in the form of a request for evidence, or RFE. This usually happens when the initial petition or filing lacks sufficient detail. For instance, regarding the in-person meeting requirement, petitioners may submit photos but neglect to include crucial details like the date or context of the meeting. Simply submitting photos without these specifics is not adequate. Furthermore, another common trigger for an RFE is the absence of proof of legal capacity to marry, such as a missing divorce decree. Similarly, an RFE may be issued if there is insufficient evidence of the petitioner's intent to marry. Essentially, RFEs are focused on the fundamental eligibility criteria, and if the petitioner fails to adequately substantiate these requirements, the petition could be impacted. Additionally, if there's an indication of a criminal history on the I-129F form and the petitioner does not provide supporting documents, this too can result in an RFE. For example, if the petitioner acknowledges a criminal history but doesn't include relevant court or legal documents, USCIS may request this information to process the petition further. Following the review of the I-129F petition, if the USCIS is satisfied with the evidence provided or if any issued request for evidence or RFE has been adequately addressed by the petitioner, the USCIS will then proceed to approve the petition. This approval marks a significant milestone in the K-1 visa process, indicating that the initial requirements have been successfully met. Once the petition receives approval from USCIS, the next step in the process begins. The approved case is forwarded to the National Visa Center, commonly referred to as the NVC. The NVC plays a crucial role in coordinating the transfer of the approved petition to the U.S. Embassy or consulate in the country where the foreign national beneficiary resides or is currently legally based. This is a preparatory step for the all-important interview that the foreign national beneficiary will undergo. Following the transfer of the approved petition, the foreign national beneficiary will receive official communication from the U.S. Embassy or consulate. This correspondence will acknowledge the receipt of the approved I-129F K-1 Fiancé petition and instruct the beneficiary to schedule their K-1 visa interview. In conjunction with this, a medical examination will also be scheduled. It is advisable for the medical examination to be completed prior to the visa interview, as the U.S. Embassy or consulate requires the medical examination report as part of the interview process. This step ensures that all health-related requirements are adequately met before the visa can be issued. Following these preparations, the crucial U.S. Embassy or consulate interview takes place. It is of utmost importance for the foreign national to be thoroughly prepared for this interview. The interview primarily focuses on assessing the eligibility of the foreign national at this stage. It involves detailed questions about the relationship with the U.S. citizen sponsor and the foreign national's eligibility for the visa. If the interview proceeds favorably and all criteria are satisfactorily met, the interviewing officer will inform the foreign national that their visa has been approved. Subsequently, the foreign national will receive their passport containing the K-1 visa stamp. This stamp includes a validity period which signifies that the beneficiary must enter the U.S. before the visa's expiration date. Following the successful visa interview, the next critical step is for the foreign national to enter the U.S. and, of course, marry their U.S. citizen sponsor within 90 days of entry. This 90-day time frame is not just a procedural guideline but a vital requirement. The marriage must occur within this period for the foreign national fiancé to be eligible to apply for a green card or adjust their status to lawful permanent residence based on their marriage to a U.S. citizen. This period is crucial in transitioning from the K-1 visa holder status to becoming a permanent resident in the U.S. So in today's discussion, I've explained the eligibility requirements for an I-129F K-1 petition and the stages in the process from the petition filing with USCIS to the visa interview at the U.S. Embassy or consulate. I hope this video is helpful, and if you want to learn more, please follow for more videos. Again, I am Pinky Velosa Ananda, a U.S. immigration lawyer, and I thank you for watching. Have a great day!